Hello guys, it's your one and only candlestick preacher, guiding you through the ups and downs of finance one candle at a time. Bitcoin is often called digital gold, but there's a very good reason for that. Just like gold, Bitcoin has a maximum supply. But here's the scary question that keeps every crypto investor awake at night. What happens when all the Bitcoin is mined? Will the Bitcoin network grind to a halt? Will the entire cryptocurrency space come crashing down? And how long do we actually have before this happens? Today, I'm going to answer all these questions and more. But first, quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor and this isn't a financial advice. So let's dive in. I know many of you are familiar with Bitcoin, but let's make sure we are all on the same page. On the 3rd of January 2009, that's when the first Bitcoin block was mined, presumably by Bitcoin's mysterious creator, Satoshi Nakamoto. That Genesis block contained a hidden message. The Times, 3rd of January 2009, Chancellor on the brink of second bailout for banks. That was literally the headline in the London Times that day. Talk about making a statement. But here's what's really important. The first block also contained the first ever cryptocurrency mining reward of 50 BTC. These BTC coins serve as an economic incentive for miners to maintain the network. They get rewarded by processing transactions and writing them to the blocks on the Bitcoin blockchain. New Bitcoins are issued roughly every 10 minutes when the new block is mined. The code automatically adjusts the mining difficulty based on how many miners are active. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The Bitcoin block reward was 50 BTC until November 28, 2012. Then something called the halving happened. The reward dropped from 50 BTC to 25 BTC, which is half of 50, just like that. A Bitcoin halving happens every 210,000 blocks. That's roughly every 4 years, though the actual timing is a bit different, as I'm going to explain. These halvings are huge. The sudden reduction in new Bitcoin supply often causes a spike in price, assuming demand stays the same or increases. Case in point, the most recent halving happened in April 2024, and look where we are now, clearly in the bull market. But here's the thing, these halvings won't continue forever. That's because the maximum amount of Bitcoin that can be ever mined is 21 million. And this limit is built right into Bitcoin's code. Why 21 million? Why did Satoshi choose 21 million? There are two theories. First, mathematical reasons. Evidence suggests 21 million supply cap is as a result of BTC's protocol. The block reward starts at 50 Bitcoin and halves every 210,000 blocks, leading to the total supply of 21 million BTC through a mathematical series. As you know, this mimics the scarcity of gold, and that's why it's referred to as digital gold. The second one, and this is very fascinating, the world's M1 global money supply was around $21 trillion in 2009. And if that's the case, then Satoshi intended each Bitcoin to be eventually worth $1 million. I mean $1 million. So think about that for a second. So when will the last Bitcoin be mined? If you Google this question, you will probably get the same answer as I did, the year 2140. But that's not entirely accurate. You see, most articles assume Bitcoin undergoes a halving every 4 years. But look at the actual dates of the last 4 halvings. 1, 2, 3, 4. They are not exactly 4 years apart. They are about 3 years and 9 months apart. Someone did the math on this, and if this pattern continues, the last Bitcoin will probably be mined at the end of 2078. That's much sooner than most people think. Now, here's what the unbelievers say. When there's no more Bitcoin to mine, there will be no economic incentive for miners. The Bitcoin network will die, and since the entire cryptocurrency market depends on Bitcoin, all or every cryptocurrency will go to zero. That's just a mouth talking that's not connected to the brain. First off, Bitcoin dominance has been dropping like a rock since 2017. This suggests Bitcoin won't be the largest cryptocurrency by market cap in 2078. The rest of the crypto market won't be as dependent on it anymore, as you have seen in recent time. Second, and this is very crucial, miners don't just earn from new Bitcoin, they also earn from transaction fees. If you look at the Bitcoin Explorer, you can see that miners are currently earning anywhere between 0.5 to 1 Bitcoin per block in transaction fees alone. Many people believe that by the time mining rewards runs out, these transaction fees will be enough to sustain the network. But there's one problem with this theory. Bitcoin can only process around 7 transactions per second. It's very unlikely that Bitcoin is going to become the payment network for microtransactions, like buying a pack of sweets or gum at the grocery store. The transaction fees alone would be multiples of what you are spending on. Bitcoin developers also know this, and that's why they have been developing layer 2 scaling solutions like the Base, Lightning Network, and others. But here's the catch. Layer 2 solutions reduce the number of transactions that actually occur on the blockchain, the Bitcoin blockchain. Fewer transactions mean fees would have to be incredibly high for miners to maintain profitability. This creates a vicious cycle that could either bankrupt Bitcoin miners or corrupt the network due to excessive reliance on less secure layer 2 solutions. Here's what I think Bitcoin maximalists need to accept. Bitcoin's main strength is a store of value, not as a currency network for day-to-day transactions. It's much more likely that Bitcoin will seldom be moved around in the future, contrary to what Satoshi originally envisioned. This means if Bitcoin is going to survive beyond the day, it stops rewarding miners, and it needs to do so without relying on transaction fees. So, what are the solutions? Number 1, cheaper energy and more efficient technology. Sustaining a proof-of-work network like Bitcoin requires massive computing power and electricity, and these make up the bulk of miners' operating expenses. But energy will likely become cheaper and technology more efficient in the coming decades. And in fact, green energy providers in the UK are already using their excess power to mine cryptocurrencies. This makes their services more profitable and allows them to expand operations. Bitcoin mining rigs are also becoming more affordable and efficient every year. Cheap energy and efficient hardware will make it easy for miners to stay profitable using transaction fees alone. Number 2, institutional adoption. Ever since companies like MicroStrategy began accumulating Bitcoin as treasury reserves, many have been speculating when the public sector will follow suit. If and when major cities and governments begin holding Bitcoin as part of their reserve, they'll have all the incentive in the world to make sure that the Bitcoin network remains secure and operational. So think about it for a second. If public institutions are holding Bitcoin after the last one is mined, and they find out miners are shutting down because they are not profitable, they would not hesitate to subsidize those miners or even start their own mining operations because they know they are going to lose since they are holding Bitcoin. This skin in the game principle is what motivates people to run Bitcoin nodes. Over 6,400 of them, even though they don't earn any rewards. Solution number 3 might surprise you. Migration to smart contract blockchain. I'm not joking. Almost 7% of Bitcoin's circulating supply is currently on Ethereum as wrapped Bitcoin, which is WBTC and RenBTC. This happens through something called wrapping, which locks Bitcoin on its native blockchain to mint equivalent tokens on Ethereum. The amount of wrapped Bitcoin has increased substantially because 1. You can use wrapped Bitcoin in DeFi protocols to earn interest. 2. It's usually faster and cheaper to move wrapped Bitcoin than actual Bitcoin. It's not just Ethereum either. Cardano and Polkadot are rolling out smart contract functionalities. And by the time Bitcoin rewards runs out, this network would be insanely decentralized with little as to no security issues. The only challenge would be migrating all the Bitcoin, something not every holder will be willing to do. Then the third one, which is the last solution on the table, and it's quite controversial, which is increasing the supply of Bitcoin. Hold up, I know what you are thinking. I thought 21 million was a protocol-defined limit. And yes, you are right. But it is technically possible to increase the supply of Bitcoin or increase its limit, so long as there's consensus from the economic majority. And that's not just 51% of miners, that includes all economic participants. We're talking about miners, developers, users, merchants, the whole shebang. The overwhelming majority would have to agree to any significant change. Remember when part of the Bitcoin community wanted to increase the block size? Not everyone was on board. This resulted in a fork in summer 2017, which then brought about the new blockchain with larger blocks, which became Bitcoin Cash. Then Bitcoin Cash forked again into or spawned into Bitcoin SV. Don't ask me about Bitcoin SV. I'm not touching that with a 6-foot pole. But the point is, even though today's economic stakeholders would never designate a higher supply Bitcoin as the real Bitcoin, this could potentially change in the coming decades. But I'm sure as hell this isn't happening on my watch. So, there you have it. Bitcoin has more than one way of surviving well the past days those mining rewards runs out. And I find it crazy that this will probably happen in my lifetime. But the advancements we are going to see in crypto between now and then are going to be more even crazier. So here's what I believe will probably happen. The Bitcoin network probably can't sustain itself on transaction fees alone, and layer 2 solutions don't help with that issue. Bitcoin's strength is a store of value, and public and private institutions are starting to see the light. Bitcoin is slowly but surely migrating to greener pastures, and I think it's very likely that the majority of all Bitcoin will be locked on smart contract blockchain like Ethereum, Polkadot, and Cardano by the end of the decade. At the end of the day, everything revolves around economic incentives. People want to move the store of value assets to platforms where they can earn interest. And as for increasing the maximum supply, that's completely out of the question for now. Bitcoin is the most secure network in the world. It has millions of users, millions of miners, and tens of thousands of the world's brightest minds working on it day and night. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. What do you think? Are you worried about Bitcoin's future when the last coin is mined? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more crypto content. I'll see you in the next one. And as always, stay volatile.